I'm Meyers Leonard, and you're listening to Like a Farmer.
Hey y'all, it's Pat. Welcome to another episode of Like a Farmer powered by Ag America Media. Today I have Mr. Meyers Leonard on the show. Yes, we are in Nashville, Tennessee. I know you're used to seeing him play basketball, but he's got some new ventures coming along that I'm excited to talk about today. As always, check me out on YouTube every single Wednesday or where you listen to your audio podcast. Meyers, I'm pumped, man.
Hey, this is going to be a great talk. Now I'll tell you this. When Wayno came on here, I was like super interested because I'm a Cardinals fan. I'm from Southern Illinois, so right across the state, obviously Missouri. But I was like, dang, he's writing music. That's cool, or whatever. And so I started looking at all your, videos prior to him and everything, and I was like, follow. So, anyways, super cool podcast. I just love the storytelling, really, and how you're allowing people to tell their life story, but it feels good. It's hard to explain.
Dude,
just country folks.
That needs to be like the beginning of every single episode now, because I tell everybody that, like, I enjoy the storytelling aspect. Mm-hmm. Dude, there is nothing cool about me. I'm not athletic. I'm not good looking. I can't sing. I can't do anything. But I can have a conversation. I can story tell, and I love that.
Yeah.
Wayno was a perfect example. Like, dude, he was a beast on the baseball field, but like, he's playing country music and he's good. And like, Riley Green's got a great story. Parker McCollum has a great story. Like, everybody that's been, obviously Josh Allen, who started the business with me, he has a great story. Like, same with you. Like, you have a really cool story, and I'm excited to talk about it today. But it's more than just on the basketball court or on the stage. It has to do with family, how you grew up. You grew up in the Midwest. You want to talk about hard work and blue collar and just get her done. Like, I enjoy doing that.
Oh yeah. No, I'm excited to dig into it, man. I've been thinking, like, all right, what should I talk about when it comes to like my hometown and stuff? Because there's actually some unique things about my hometown that, there's plenty of farming and all that, but there's a lot of other things I think that are pretty unique. So,
what's the most? We're talking about Illinois.
Yep.
What's the most unique thing? And you would say
I come from Robinson, Illinois.
Yep.
And first of all, we have a very large Marathon refinery. My best friend's dad's worked there for almost 30 years now. But we produce, it's north of 250,000 barrels, which are 42-gallon barrels of fuel every day, which is kind of crazy. We have a Hershey plant in my hometown, and yes, literally when they do like the fresh batch, the whole town smells like chocolate. It's kind of crazy.
Oh.
And so actually, have you ever heard of Heath Bar?
Yeah.
So absolutely. That is from Robinson, Illinois, and then Hershey bought them out, and then of course we've got corn and soybeans. So a lot of farmers. Just like you said, blue-collar people, man. I wouldn't change where I come from for any reason. Looking back, it's like, dang, I'm really lucky to have like those roots, I guess you could say. You don't have as much access as the big city, but that doesn't matter. Like, you can always move away and, pursue your dreams, just like I did. So, man, there's just something about a small town with good people that feels right to me.
Dude, small town America, Friday night football, high school football, being able to leave the porch door unlocked and open door policy, and everybody, when they walk into a restaurant, they take their hat off, and when they shake a man's hand, they look him in their eye, and they open the door for a woman. It's like, it's those types of, traits that what I'm saying rural America has, and that's what's kind of powered this show.
Yeah.
But it's that lifestyle. Like, why do you like this lifestyle so much when it comes to wearing cowboy boots and driving pickup trucks? You got a great big-ass pickup truck out front. Like, listening to country music. And, you don't have to be from that area to do it. Like, it's people that are kind of in the city kind of looking over their shoulder like, I want to be in that lifestyle too.
Yeah, what's interesting, man? So playing basketball was, what I love to do. So that was what that is still somewhat what I'm known for. And so, being in that crowd, there honestly wasn't a lot of people listening to country music. So I actually kind of, drifted away for a while. Like during my career, I would listen to, rap and R&B, which I still do occasionally. It's, it's fun to, change things up. But I guess the best way to put it is when the older I get and like towards the tail end of my career, I was like, wait a minute. Like, it's like country music just keeps pulling me back in. Like, it's pulling me, even though I'm not physically there, you know, if I were training in LA or when I was playing in Portland or playing in Miami, playing in Milwaukee, it was like it almost made me feel like I was home in a way. You know, I could pick up the phone and I can call my people back home, call my brother, call my mom, call whoever. But the music, man, it's so powerful. So just, I don't know, man, like the small town thing, it's just like the morals, exactly what you were saying. People that work hard, you know, the front door is, you know, wide open, come on in, you know what I mean? And it's just, I'm so grateful that that was the upbringing that I had. And now, like, Nashville's kind of a perfect blend. Like, really nice people, great place to raise a family. My wife and I got our little baby boy, Liam. He's 2.5. We got another one on the way, another boy. Yes. God bless my wife. A lot of energy in this household for sure.
You are gonna have a basketball team before you know it.
That's her running joke. Like, oh, another boy. She's like, yeah, we're building the roster.
So how tall are you? 7
feet.
7 feet.
Yeah. In boots, 7'1", whatever, but
yeah,
just 7 flat.
Do you know Liam is 2?
2.5.
And do you know if he's gonna be like?
I mean, so when we walked into the pediatrician the first time, well, probably like his 1-year meeting or something, checkup, excuse me. The doc was like, all right, I'm just going to get this out of the way. You guys are both tall. Are your families tall? Yeah, our families are tall. Everyone's going to want to know, what's your doctor say about what's the projected height of your son? And he's like, just tell him, yeah, he's going to be tall. Because I was telling you this before we, you know, went live here. There's like the little graph, and it's like 65th, 75th, you know, 97th or something percentile. And Liam's always just like, boop, a dot up in outer space. So I'd say he's going to be a pretty big kid. I was telling you this also, like my mom, 6 feet. My dad passed when I was young, but 6'4". My brother's 6'4". I'm 7 feet. And on my wife's side, she's 5'10". She's got a sister that's 6'1". Brother's 6'8", played college basketball. Dad's tall, 6'4". Grandpa's 6'4". So I'd say there's a pretty good chance Liam's going to be tall. And but like I said earlier, as long as he's happy and healthy, that's all that really matters.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
I'm excited to dig into kind of early childhood, growing up, when you decided, okay, I need to play basketball. And maybe it was just because you're freaking 7 foot tall.
Well, there's a story for that too.
But before we do that, I want to just start off right off the rip with a game, okay?
Oh, boy. Okay.
This game's called Give 'em the Boot, presented by TECOVAS.
Oh, come on.
So I got a brand new pair of TECOVAS boots for you.
We love it.
Obviously, your size of boot is kind of hard to find. But
it can be.
There's going to be 4 questions in this boot, all right?
Yeah.
You got to answer all of them. Now, you can give one of them the boot. But when you give one the boot, that means you have to answer the other ones.
Okay.
Give 'em the boot, presented by TECOVAS. Question number 1.
And you're saying 100% got to answer this.
Unless you give it the boot, but you only can give one of them the boot.
All right. Ooh, wow. What a question. Dang. That's a heavy hitter right off the top. What life event defines me, Meyers? This is going to sound weird, but maybe losing my dad. I was only 6, but everything in my life, whether it be like all the mentors, it was just like God was placing the right people, the right moments, everything. Just, it's like a storybook, man. My wife's always like, you got to tell your story sometime. I'm like, I'll get there. And I have, you know,
yeah.
It was one of my favorite things to do when I was playing, to get on the mic, you know, do community events and just start talking and speaking from the heart. And, you know, typically I got people crying and all sorts of stuff. But, man, I don't know. I guess pain in a weird way is what probably turned me into who I am. Do I wish my dad were here? Absolutely. Of course I do. But I had to learn from a very young, I mean, we were poor as the dirt on the ground, man. I don't know if you've ever seen the video of my brother coming back from Afghanistan when he was with the Marine Corps. It's on YouTube. It's just a little surprise that my wife now, she's my girlfriend at the time, set up with one of my close friends, and it's very emotional and all this and that. But just, I don't know, man, like, we didn't have anything, and life was really hard, and, you know, we got made fun of for being poor and all this and that. Like, when people see me, they see 7 feet and, you know, broad shoulders, played in the NBA and all this. Like, yeah, I'm a pretty confident man now, but man, my whole life, no. The only thing that gave me confidence was like sports, because we didn't have anything. And I would always I remember laying in bed when I was younger, just like, why can't I be cool like the other kids? Why can't I have cool shoes and all these things? Which it shouldn't matter, but when you're a kid, those kinds of things matter. But I guess, yeah, it would be just that I don't know, had to grow up in a way earlier than maybe most, and I had to always have appreciated everything. There was a time when we were sleeping on the floor, no electricity, no running water. So, I don't say these things to, have people want to feel bad for me or something. It's truly what I believe is like the fiber of me always wanting to give to other people and provide for my family and work. People say they work hard. I'm gonna ask you a question. How many people do you think that actually work real hard? Now, this is different. I guess I don't actually ask like a bunch of country folks, and it could be anybody. But because there's people working on Wall Street work extremely hard. But how many do you think really work hard? Like,
I bet 2 out of 10.
Yeah, 20%. I always tell people maybe 25%.
Yeah,
maybe. And I'm not trying to, say anything negatively towards people. The point is, man, I had to find a way out, and so sports was my ticket. I'm blessed with the height and everything. But yeah, I would say the life event that defines me would probably just be, unfortunately, losing my dad. Like, I just had to figure it out, and I, grinded and worked out, and I went to University of Illinois and the whole thing, and it's just who I am. It really is. Like, there's been so many mentors and people step into my life, like I was saying earlier, that is like shocking. It's like, how is this even possible?
Damn, that was deep.
It's just, man, I don't know. If I thought too hard about it, I'd probably start crying.
Hell, you had me tearing up a little bit. I mean, that's deep right there.
Yeah, man. I don't know. It's just who I am. I feel like as soon as somebody's around me for, a minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I can just kind of, start talking about life and try to give some inspiration or whatever. But so yeah, I would say that my childhood was very hard, but that moment or moments really, but as a whole, defines me as a man.
I think it's really important to point out, and adversity is one of the main things we talk about on this show, because everybody's faced adversity, and that we go back to the storytelling. Like, I want to know people's life. Like, I don't care. I can go on YouTube and look at Meyers Leonard NBA clips, but like, I want to know who Meyers is. I mean, I do it. You got a beautiful family. You're a father first, which I love. You're a husband first, which I love. Like, you have a really cool story, and you've faced adversity. So I appreciate you opening up a little bit about that. We started hot right in the beginning.
Right off the rip.
All right, question number 1. Holy cow. I'm glad you didn't give that one the boot.
Yeah.
You don't have to give any of them the boot.
Well, I was going to say I'm an open book, so there's a pretty good chance I'm answering all 4 of these. All right. Oh, man. All right. Again, this is going to be hard to answer. Favorite country musician right now? So I've got a couple buddies. One, Brett Eldridge. That's my boy. We had the same high school conference. He's from Paris, Illinois, which is probably 35 minutes maybe. And so we were in the Apollo conference. He's a little older than I am, but anyways, Brett and I played pickleball together. Last year we went to a University of Illinois game because, we all love the good old U of I and everything. And so, just spending time together. So he's a friend. And then Dylan Scott. So this is a pretty funny story. I remember getting on Twitter when it was still Twitter. Dylan probably had respectfully to you, Dylan at the time had like less than 10,000 followers or something. And that means nothing. I'm not trashing. The dude is on top of the world right now. But I messaged him and I was like, dude, I know you don't know me, but I love your song, Making This Boy Go Crazy. My wife and I are going to dance to it at our wedding. And so he replied, and he's like, dude, it's crazy to me. Like, whatever, an NBA player's messaged me, like, that's sick or whatever. So anyways, I love both of their music. Love it, Brett and Dylan. But I would say if I could only, I got to go with 1A and 1B. I'm sorry. It'd probably be, if I really want to listen for entertainment, I'd say Zach Top and Riley. For sure.
Yeah. They've been common answers on this show. I mean,
like Zach, man, is just I just don't get it. Like, he's so talented, man. It's insane. He can play the guitar. He can freaking sing. Like when he does covers of old Keith Whitley and like, you know, all these things. I'm just like, geez, man, this guy's got what we call in sports like the it factor. Like he's got the smile, he's got the cowboy hat, like he can play guitar.
The demeanor.
He's got the whole thing.
He might be Alan Jackson's son.
He might be.
Seen that?
I've seen the conspiracies.
Okay, gotcha. Just making sure, get that up.
And then Riley, man, like the storytelling in it, just that part of it, insane.
I think he does a really good job when it comes to the storytelling aspect of just music. Mm-hmm. And I mean, there's no pretending when it comes to Riley.
Dude, don't mind if I do. Like all the way through, like what?
Yeah.
I was in my truck and I was just like, there's no skips here. I'm like, what is happening?
None. Those are good. 1A, 1B. Top and Riley. Yeah, I like that.
So, yeah, those would be my two. Zach Top, Riley Green. Next one. What's this called again? The four somethings?
Give him the boot.
Give him the boot. Oh, what a question. Best NBA teammate. Well, since I know that podcasts get clipped, you know.
Hey, y'all, it's Pat with Like a Farmer. Are you looking to add some local flavors to your recipes? Well, visit freshfromflorida.com today, where you can browse hundreds of delicious recipes that bring Florida freshness to your table all year round. Become a Fresh from Florida member for free and create your own menus. Save and send your favorite dishes and get exclusive access to monthly newsletters packed with fresh local recipes. I can promise you, you will be a favorite in your neighborhood. From the Florida fields to your fork, year-round freshness and flavor are just a logo away. Fresh from Florida, there's a sunshine in every bite. Hey, y'all, today's episode is brought to you by Ag America, your go-to financial partner for all things agriculture. As the largest independent financial firm dedicated to rural America, Ag America is changing the game when it comes to ag lending and leveling up finance options for farmers, ranchers, and landowners across the nation. And I'll let you know a little secret. The thing that sets this company apart from the rest is the people. They understand firsthand the unique needs of American farmers and ranchers because many of them grew up on farms themselves. They take a farmer-focused approach to finance, prioritizing relationships over transactions to help you build a stronger financial foundation for you and your family. So whether you're looking to buy land or secure working capital, Ag America has your back. Visit agamerica.com today to learn more and see how they can help you achieve long-term financial success. Because when farmers thrive, we all do.
The thing I love most about sports, like I was mentioning earlier, was the camaraderie, actually. Like, I'm super competitive, but I'm also like a big 7-foot teddy bear. Like, but once I'm locked in, I'm locked in. So I always, the part that mattered most to me was the locker room, like my teammates. Like, you know, just call it for what it is. Like, you're playing for money. There's plenty of money being thrown around, like, you know, but the teams that really win are the ones that have great locker rooms and that genuinely want their teammates to have success. So all the way through, I was very lucky. Like, you hear horror stories about like a bad locker room, like one or two bad apples, you know, leaches into the bench, and they're like, you know, the coach ain't playing. No. Man, I was lucky. Really, I was. So, like, I was drafted with Dame. Dame was the 6th pick. I was the 11th pick in 2012 to Portland. And then, you know, CJ was the next year. And, you know, there's so many guys I can name from Portland.
Portland had 6 and 11 the year
Yep.
that Damian Lillard and you got drafted.
That's right.
Gotcha.
Yep. So, you know, Dame would be an easy one to say just because we spend so much time together. And he's a great dude, hardworking, leads by example, also can lead with his voice, obviously, and all the different things. You know, great dad. But so there's, you know, Dame and a handful of others from Portland. Then I was in Miami, and honestly, my answer would probably be Jimmy Butler. You know, people can say what they want, but that's a good dude, and I know that for sure. We spent a bunch of time together when I was in Miami, and I'm very grateful for, again, really the off the floor stuff more than I am, going to the finals. I mean, that was super cool and everything, but I'll never forget. I got traded from Portland to Miami and showing up one morning at like 6 a.m. because I wanted to prove to them, like, I had just had 30 and 12 in the Western Conference Finals against the Warriors. That was my last game in Portland. So I was like riding a high in terms of basketball, and I was like, you know what, I got to show them that, like, I mean business, and I'm ready to play consistently, and I want to start. So I like get into the arena 6 a.m., something like that, and I'm like, what in the hell? I thought I heard country music, and I did, and I was like, what's happening right now? So I poked my head in the locker room. Jimmy's got like, I think it was maybe centers like me, and I'm like, what is happening? Is this you? He goes, yeah, dude, I love country music. I was like, all right, we're gonna be pretty tight then. So, we bonded over that and everything, and it's just like every star in any industry, they've got their moments. So they're like, oh, why did he say this? Why did he do that? First of all, you're in the spotlight, so things like that are bound to happen. But Jimmy was just so genuine, man. I don't know. There's something different about him. He just really wants you to succeed and believes in you, and also just the way, like, the energy and, like, kind of the aura on the floor. You can feel this intensity. It's like he's bringing you along with him. Like, you want to run through a freaking wall for that guy. So, yeah, it's definitely a handful of guys throughout the years that I'm fortunate to know and have been teammates with. But I guess if I had to pick one, I'd probably say Jimmy. Like, I'll say one more thing. When we were in the bubble,
God, should have won that year too, man.
Yeah.
I grew up a Miami Heat fan. This is like like LeBron and all that. I mean, I went to the finals, which would have been
2005-06. Yeah.
When D Wade got it.
Yep. Him and Shaq.
Because they played Dallas and Dallas won. Mm-hmm. That was with the Jet and Dirk.
Well, that was
LeBron's first
era.
year. Yeah, that was 2010.
Yeah.
So, yeah, in 06, I was at that finals. I mean, so I've always loved Miami. But back to what I'm saying, I wish the bubble, y'all would have got it done.
Yeah, we were right on the brink of it, man. Goran tore his plantar. He was huge as the sixth man coming off and be able to score and pick and roll and create. And then Bam, like, tweaked his shoulder. Mm-hmm. So, anyways, we came up short, but every game that we won, so it would have been 12 up into the finals, we'd go to the lobby of the hotel that we were at, and we'd bring out this big-ass JBL speaker and just blare country music and drink a ton of beer. And then we, practice the next day, sweat it out, and then be ready to go 2 days later or whatever it was for the next game. But those are like core memories for me, man. Like, we were just most of the staff, most of the players, like, just down there having a ball, man. Just because, we were in the same place for, I think it was 91 days. So it was like it was like staring at the same people, the same walls was getting a little bit.
How was it with the whole Pat Riley thing? I mean, how is he as a
dude?
As an individual first, but obviously a businessman. I mean, he's done
that workout when I walked in that first morning. Pat loves basketball, and I remember I'd gotten done doing my little pre-practice routine or whatever. I was just doing an individual workout, getting shots up, but then I was shooting some free throws, and he's like, "Hey, grab a sip of water," or whatever. My coach. And as I was walking back out, I kind of heard a door open, and I was like, I'm new to this gym, obviously, and I hear it close. So I peek over, and thankfully he wasn't looking. It was Pat, and I was like, okay, been in the league 8 years, like, never been around. There's just something, same with Jimmy. There's something about Pat Riley that's like, he's Godfather. Like, he is an absolute legend, man, but he loves talking live, loves talking hoops, obviously. He'd come on a lot of the team trips on the plane, and I'd go back there and chat with him, like, totally open door policy. Same with Spo. That's why, to me, they succeed, because Mickey says, I believe in you guys, and Pat believes in Spo, and it's just, there's a certain Heat culture that is going to be followed. And if you don't like it, pretty well, there's the door. So I respect that. We're getting paid millions of dollars to put an orange ball on an orange rim. We're not saving lives. We're not farming crops. Somebody's got to do the job, I guess. But regardless, I was extremely fortunate. And so, like, for them to ask us to do a conditioning test, well, hell yeah, we ought to do that. It's hard as hell. I'm not going to lie. But when you get done with it, there's like this, I don't know, connectivity or something that just makes you feel like, all right, we're grinding together, so to speak. Same thing happened in the bubble. Like, most of them teams wanted to leave. They were tired of, not being in their own homes, or, half the time you couldn't, Ellie wasn't there. She was in Miami for 6 weeks or whatever it was. And it got pretty lonely, sure. But regardless, we're still like, we're here, and like, we can either try to win or just give up. So we just doubled down, man. And that's what I loved about the Heat. And I love about Miami is it's just like all in. And so, Pat's the real deal. Like, he's got some insane stories, but just so genuine. That's what I love most about him.
I always tell all my buddies that my mom named me Pat after Pat Riley. I've always looked up to him as like a badass dude. So
is that true?
No, not at all.
Oh.
I've just always said that.
I mean, you should stick with it.
I know. I'm with you.
Yeah,
that's a good answer, though. I mean, going back to the Jimmy Butler thing,
Mm-hmm.
I want that. Jimmy's on my short list to get on the show. I mean, he's a country music guy.
Oh, he's a big. You know what? Before I knew like what a real demo was like, he'd play some stuff. And I'd be like, "Hey man, what is that?" Because I'm always on top of like all the newest stuff. Yeah. He's like, "Ain't out yet," and I'm like, "All right, dude. I know you're a big dog, and you got all the relationships already in Nashville." So that was always pretty funny. But yeah, he genuinely loves it. Like, I've seen like Breland's been out there. I know like my buddy Jacob Hackworth, like him and I think a few other guys went down and wrote some music with Jimmy. So he's definitely like, doing it.
Yeah.
I don't know to what level, but everything he does is to the highest level. So I don't think he has a place here, but he very well might. And then we'll see what he does with the whole thing. But it's cool to me that he's, it's just different. Like, how many people do you know in the NBA that listen to country music? Maybe 10 players, maybe, which is fine. But, it's super dope to me that Jimmy loves country music.
We need to get to where, like, in the pregame warm-ups and stuff, they're blaring any type of music, but we need to, like, have an NBA game where it's just country. Like, they need to have a country music night.
Well, I'll say this. In Milwaukee,
sure.
They would, like, allow you to kind of pick the pregame music a little bit. The DJ would be out there, and you shoot for normally 20 to 25 minutes pregame. Everybody's got their slot. And so they'd play country music for me when I was out there, which was pretty dope. And then when I was in Portland, there's 15 players on a roster, so you'd cycle through 15 home games. So that leaves you at, let's see, if you got 41 home games, roughly 3 songs. So I would always pick a country song.
That's awesome.
For when we run out of the tunnel. Just the look on my teammate's face made it worth it.
What was your go-to, like, walkout song?
Dude, I always would change it just so it would be different. But, like, oh, man. Well, the funniest one probably, I just told them to play Ladies Love Country Boy. My teammates were like, come on, man. What are we doing here? But anyways, Jimmy. That's what happens to me. To be fair, I did give you a fair warning about that.
Yeah, you did. It was great.
Like, hey, man, I get a little long-winded. All right, here's the last one. Let's see if I'm going to give anything to boot. Oh, boy.
And I was hoping you didn't give that one the boot.
Nope. You want me to?
No, I was hoping you didn't, yeah.
Coolest purchase with NBA money. All right, so I remember I took a trip. My wife was still my girlfriend at the time, and the family that kind of adopted me, almost like the Blind Side movie, except for basketball version. Like, my mom's still in my life, always been in my life, but times were tough. So they stepped in and helped a lot. Anyways, we took a family trip down to...
This, what you mean, like you had like a...
This is right after I declared for the draft. The family that helped me in my life, just a family.
Okay.
Mom, dad, 2 sons and a daughter who are like, 2 brothers and a sister to me. We always took a family trip. Like, I never got to take trips, but if they went, I'd meet them in Florida. So now I'd just been drafted and I had a little bit of time. So we go down to Florida, and I got, first time ever, still haven't had one since, thank God, an ingrown toenail, and it was awful. So I had to go to the ER, whatever, get it all cut out. And I remember thinking, like, oh my gosh, how am I going to pay for this? You know, like I knew that the money was coming, but so I called my bank card, and I don't do this anymore, but there used to be like an automated system where you could ask, I'm sure it's still there, but how much money is in my account? And I remember it saying something like $187,000 and blah, 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 blah. And I remember thinking, oh my God, like $20 at that point was still a lot to me. So I was like, okay, good deal. I could pay for the ER visit, but I just remember it catching me off guard, like, holy shit, this is real now. That was the advancement of money you get. And then, you know, obviously you start getting your game checks. But one thing I really wanted to do, and I always still do, take care of my mom. And so the big purchase was her house. But the answer that you want would probably be when I was at University of Illinois, going into my sophomore year, I played there 2 years. I saw a Porsche Panamera in Italy. That's where we took a little foreign trip. And I was like, oh man, I got to have one of those if I ever make it to the NBA. Luckily for me, that it happened a year later. And so I got myself a Porsche Panamera.
How is your big ass fitting in that thing?
So I don't fit in like the 911 and everything, but because it's, you know, kind of it's more extended, I fit in there actually pretty well.
You still have it?
Nope. Sold that thing. Honestly, because, and I'm not trying to be a hard ass, speed doesn't really scare me for some reason. And all it takes is for something in the road or like a blown tire. Like I'm not even willing to admit publicly on this podcast how fast I drove that thing. Now it was back road, totally trusted. No, I could probably drive it with my eyes closed back home. But still, a tire goes out. I mean, I was young and dumb, but it's still I was engaged then at that time, about to be married, like a whole life ahead of me, and I was driving like a freaking moron. So now I just drive a big F-250.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I'm not more of a speedster. I just want something big just in case. You never know.
No doubt. Safety, for sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess I'd say a car. Go figure.
Yeah. Well, buying mom a house, that's awesome.
Yeah, man. I feel really, like, I don't know. When I was talking to you earlier, you want me to sit this area where?
That's good.
Just about life and everything. And I just feel so fortunate to be able to give to everyone else around me now, because I didn't have anything growing up at all. And I asked my, I say therapist as if like I'm going through it, but I asked her about it, and she was like, Meyers, you see your shoulders? And I said, yeah. She's like, there's a reason they're big, and there's a reason you're big and tall. You're meant to bring a lot of people with you. God didn't make a mistake with this. He knew you were one of the right people because you do the right things. So I genuinely believe and know in my heart that, man, I've just tried to set my mom up and take care of her and my brother and his wife and his kids and obviously my wife and my son. But I just feel so damn lucky, man. Like I put my head on the pillow sometimes and it's just like, how is this my life? Like I just feel so grateful. So anyways, yeah, that's the whole money thing. But I'm thankful to have it more so I can give, not just me.
Yeah.
I do like guitars though now, so.
Yeah, everybody's got an expensive hobby. I mean, I'm pumped to talk a little bit about that too. Mm-hmm. But like when you think about your path and even your childhood, I mean, at what point did you know like, hey, I'm going to play basketball?
Oh, there we go. Now we're getting there. So I tried to play every sport. And matter of fact, when I do my camps back home and stuff, and for anybody listening, please parents, don't specialize your kids. Don't do it. What, you want them to burn out? If they're meant to be a professional athlete, they will be.
So you mean don't be a
like
one
you're
sport?
only a baseball player. Yeah. No. How about learn to, sure, baseball, run the bases. Not easy. Catch a pop fly in the sun.
It's very common these days. And let's just start from the beginning of parents just wanting their kids to play sports. Like, hey, get them outside, but if they don't want to play sports, but get them outside. So I'm a fan on that. But when they want to play sports, do not specialize on just one sport. No. Like, they're going to be the next Derek Jeter. They're going to be the next LeBron James. They're going to be the next Tiger Woods. Like, whatever that is, like, just let them figure it out.
Yeah, if it's supposed to be, it will be. Like, trying to swing a tennis racket and, the athleticism it takes to do that, or soccer. I mean, I tried everything, man. Basketball, baseball. I loved to swim. Like, that was what I loved, again, because I can excel in sports. That's what made me feel good as a kid. Because, again, we didn't have anything. So that was kind of my ticket to, like, being in a cool friend group or whatever, I guess. So from there, our middle school team was decent. Here we go, Meyers, like, middle school, come on, buddy. But we went to the state tournament. But I was, leaving 8th grade, I was 6'1". By the end of my freshman year of high school, I was 6'10". So I grew 9 inches in 12 months. And that was the real big, obviously, growth spurt. Dude, I remember,
did you inject anything in your body or anything?
It was just the good man upstairs saying, you know what, big boy, time for you to shoot, sprout up. So I had just started lifting weights. I was real scrawny in high school. And so I thought the pain in my body was from lifting weights, but my feet, my heels, because my feet were literally growing so damn fast, my low back because my upper body was growing so damn fast, and then my knees because my legs were growing so much. I had no clue, though, because we would always buy clothes that were too big normally, or, a version of that, because we wanted it to last because we didn't have money. So I'll never forget that first of all, I played 0 minutes of varsity basketball my freshman year, 0. And we were doing I think post-school, going into summer sport physicals. I'm still super close with the athletic trainer there, big burly dude, Scott, shout out Scott. Scared to death of him. And he was like, Meyers, stand up there. And I was, he was doing my height. And he was like, you're 6'10". I was like, bullshit. He's like, okay, you little punk, get back up there. So he put his finger there, a piece of paper or something. And sure as shit, I turned around and I was 6'10". I was like, whoa. Now, mind you, right after the basketball season, I bawled my eyes out in that gym to him, Scott. And I was like, I want to quit basketball. He's like, Meyers, don't be silly. Like, there was a couple of senior bigs that were playing. Like, you're going to be fine. No, I didn't get a chance to play. I'm, again, not very confident, me, like, as a young man. And so I've always needed people to help in that regard. But once I figured out I was 6'10", he was like, listen, dude, you can move well for your size. We're going to put even more time in, more weights, more conditioning, more basketball workouts, this and that. And then, so that takes me into my sophomore year out of nowhere, dude. I mean, I went from unknown to any college coach to like hundreds of pieces of mail a day. And I was like, what is happening? And then, that was in the summer. Then we got to the school year and it was like, again, it was cool. I'm not gonna lie, for like the student in the office that would like run and do errands for the office, and they'd bring me a couple of letters, and I was like, my classmate, Meyers, what school is it today? I know it felt cool as hell, I'm not gonna lie. And so I'll never forget, man, I was always just waiting on that orange damn envelope, University of Illinois. That's
orange and blue.
Orange and blue.
Oh, I thought you were saying University of Florida, my bad.
No, sir. But there's a funny story about that. The day I committed to University of Illinois, I was supposed to go to Florida. When I called Billy Donovan, and I said, hey, Coach.
Billy D.
Hey, Coach, I'm not going to make it. I've always wanted to stay home. Like, this place is like the Mecca to me. And so I'm committing to University of Illinois today. And he said, you know what, Meyers, congratulations. You seem like a good young man. I hope you have a successful career there at Illinois and hopefully beyond, which thankfully I have. But yeah, man, so that's like my sophomore year. I committed because that's all I wanted, was just to go to University of Illinois. Didn't care about, I was pretty much everywhere besides, I think it was like Duke and Kansas might have been the only ones that I never really received any letters or calls from. But so that, that's, I'll be honest, that's pretty neat as a basketball player. I guess as like a music artist, that'd be like, the big labels and stuff reaching out to you kind of thing. So I felt good about that. And so my senior year, we won a state championship, which is still to this day, when you asked earlier on this question here, like what defines you? Like my favorite moment as a basketball player, beyond getting drafted, beyond playing in the finals, beyond scoring 30 in the Western Conference Finals, like, yeah, I was on a high that night. Of course I was. But winning a state championship with my boys, like, the best basketball moment I've ever had. Not close. And man, I keep getting super long-winded. Sorry, but
no, that's
fifth
awesome.
grade, like we knew we had a decently athletic group, and we told ourselves, I can't believe I forgot this part of the story. Like one day we got to win a state championship. We can do it. I swear that is an absolute true story. So yeah, we did it, man. We won a state championship in 2010, and then I went on to the University of Illinois. To be honest, my freshman year I stunk, man. I was horrible. I was not strong enough. I was not ready to play in the Big Ten. I thought I was, and boy did I get my ass humbled. Mm-hmm. And but sometimes we need that in life. You know what I mean? And so, I think I averaged like 9 minutes, 2 points, and like 1.9 rebounds. I mean, I was embarrassed how I played because I was a top recruit in the country and everything. But honestly, similar to I've never even thought about this. Similar to my freshman year of high school, there was a couple of senior bigs that were pretty good, and we had a good team. We went to the second round of the NCAA tournament or whatever. But so that was my freshman year. I stunk, and then I met my wife Ellie, and it's funny, man. I had my teammate walk over to her. I saw her at a bar one night, and I didn't even have like the courage to go up and ask her for her number. So he walks up, and I see like nope, and I was like, damn. She not only like said no to me, but she like told him like, nah, sorry, not interested. And then he had to relay the information. I was like, I saw her shake her head no, and he's like, sorry, man. So anyways, the next year I came back, of course, to University of Illinois my sophomore year, played pretty well, and was fortunate enough to be drafted then 11th, as I mentioned earlier. Drafted 11th, as I said earlier, in 2012 by Portland. So I don't know, man. My whole basketball career has just been crazy.
Ellie.
It's spelled like L, though. People make that.
Yeah. Sorry, Ellie. The Ellie thing at the bar.
Yeah.
You're just going to leave it at that? I mean, how did it...
Oh, again, I want to make sure I'm not like the longest podcast ever in the history of the world. So she'll love that I'm going to tell this. I saw her across the bar, and I said to my teammate, I was like, who the hell is that? Because I didn't go out really, only sparingly, but my teammate did. And he was like, oh, that's Ellie. It's like, Ellie who? It's like, she's an Alpha Phi, some of our friends are friends and whatever. So I turned to him and I said, listen to me, dude. I swear to God, I'm going to marry that woman. I swear. And then he walked over and I saw the no, and I was like, dang. There was just something about it. Like the love at first sight thing was real for me. I was like, I mean, she's the one. I know it. So her best friend and our maid of honor in our wedding, it was then her birthday, say a couple weeks later or something. The basketball season's over after my freshman year. And so I went out with my teammate again and finally got to talk to Ellie just a little bit, but still nothing really. Well, then my teammate was over there hanging at Alpha Phi one night, and he called me from her phone. He kind of threw the lob low-key, because then I would have the number in my phone. And so I went over and hung out for a little while. And
shout out whoever that friend is.
No doubt.
Threw the lob low-key.
Oh, yeah. So I went and hung out that night and texted her the next morning like, hey, sorry that he did that, whatever. She's like, no, it's okay. So I went, then another week later, her friends were all out, and let's just say they were having a good time. She, my wife, love you, sweetie, maybe had a little bit of extra liquid courage, and all of her friends walked in. So I get out of the driver's door, and I wasn't expecting nothing. I wasn't trying to hug her, kiss her, none of that. I just wanted to say, like, hey, why don't you give me a chance? Like, geez, I've shown at least a couple of times that, whatever you've heard about me being, a silly athlete or whatever, in terms of, like, you think you're big, bad, and whatever. And she was like, you really want to know? And I was like, yeah. She goes, you know what? First of all, I actually love basketball, and I watched this year. You weren't any good, and that's on you. You were a top recruit in the country. You got nothing to show for it. Was it because you weren't focused, or were you not in the gym? And I was like, holy shit, what's happening right now? And then she said, I've got some friends that said they were out with you and you're acting like a fool, which even to this day, I like to be the life of the party. So I could see that. I was maybe getting a little ahead of myself and, who knows, yelling and screaming in the bar. I don't know. I still love to have a good time. I don't give a damn. But I did in that moment because I wanted to impress her. And basically, she just laid it on me for like 30 minutes. Once she finished, I was like, wow, I guess nobody's ever really told me that. Because for whatever reason, like, yeah, I've got good friends that'll, tell me the truth and whatever. But at that time, maybe I just thought I was, again, Mr. Big Man on campus. And she's like, like, I don't know who you think you are, but if you want any type of shot with me, like, this is how it's going to be, kind of thing. So that was that. So even from there, I texted her 3 separate times, like, let's say 3 weeks, 1 week apart. Hey, you want to go out to dinner? No. Hey, you want to go to it's the exclusive place on campus that, like, only athletes, and you have to have this certain card to get in. Hey, you want to go with me? No. Dinner? No. 4th time. She goes, you know what? I don't want to go to dinner, but would you go shoot some hoops? And I'm like, perfect. I don't have money and I could play basketball. So hell yeah, let's go shoot some hoops. And we have a cool facility. So I meet her at the basketball gym, and we probably shot for like, I don't know, hour and a half. Still to this day, we could go to Bourbon Steak. We could go anywhere in this town. Beautiful, great dinner. We can go to Nobu, Malibu. Doesn't matter. We could literally be at Lake Como, Italy. I'm telling you, the best date night for my wife is literally shooting hoops. That is an absolute fact. Yeah. And so, anyways, that first date, we shot around, and I'll give you some kudos right here, honey. So we were shooting. She's like, I kind of want to do something like competitive. I'm like, okay. And I knew that she had a mid-range jumper. I mean, I had learned that in the last 90 minutes of us shooting together. She goes, let's do just like spot shots or something and see who can make the most. So she goes, I want you to go first, though. So we just did 5 shots from 5 spots, pretty typical in basketball. Corner, elbow, free throw line, other elbow, other corner. So I make 22, respectable. She made 23, and I'm not lying. And I was like, all right, what just happened? Got beat at my own game. But so then once that happened, I was like, wow, that was really impressive. We just went and sat on what we call the block eye. It's a huge eye for Illinois. And you just got to talking about life, kind of like, you and I have here. And I think at that point, she realized that, yeah, I might think I'm Mr. Big Man on campus, but really I'm just a softie. And maybe that's just like this facade that I'm trying to, or this mask that I've got on, or this big energy, because deep down, for even throughout that part of my career in college and my NBA career, man, I was still pretty like I've got great friends and family, insanely blessed with everything in my life. But during that time, man, a part of me just felt like dead inside. It was really weird. I had no confidence in this and that. And I just was able to talk about my life and losing my dad and all these things with her. And at the end of it, I think she was like, whoa, okay, there is most certainly a gonna be great father one day inside of me. And that felt good because I was finally able to kind of reach her on a more
emotional level.
Yeah, and connect. And so, yeah, man, I'm glad you asked for me to expand, because that, it's super genuine. It's us. Like, that was our first date, man. We talked. Dude, I got back to my locker and looked at my phone. I had like missed calls from my best friends, and all the people were worried, like, Meyers, where are you? And I was like, gee, I was just hanging out with a girl. Relax. So yeah, that was our first date, and the rest is history, I guess you could say. She's a great woman. I'm very, 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 very thankful. Super smart, super driven, great mom. So, man, again, I put my head on the pillow, and I'm like, thank you, but how is this my life?
That's so cool. I want to go back because you mentioned draft night, number 11.
That's right.
Coming out sophomore year.
Yep.
So okay.
2 years at University of Illinois, and then.
How does that feel? Like, go to draft night and just like, are you at the draft?
Yeah. So.
Because you want to talk about being embarrassed. I mean, you get invited, and you just don't get.
That'd be a rough deal there.
I always.
So really,
you
know that there's a certain group of teams, or at least a couple teams, that are interested in you in the lottery, basically. And so I did 11 workouts. I was training in New York, and then I'd fly and I'd go do, a workout in wherever, New Orleans, Boston, Houston. I did a ton of them. Actually, my first one was Portland, and then they drafted me. But it's hard, man, because I was training 2 to 3 times a day, 6 times a week. Mm-hmm. And I was grinding, man. I was in good shape. Obviously, I should be. And feeling good and whatever, and ended up getting drafted by Portland. But so draft night, my agent knew that there was a group of teams pretty much between like 7 and 14 that somebody's probably going to take you. So they invite you to the draft in the green room and everything. And the thing that I liked the most is that all the people that I cared about and that cared about me and that I loved were there. And so man, I remember my name being called. Rest in peace, David Stern. And just got up, and I was crying, so I tried to put myself back together, gave my mom a hug, gave my wife a hug. And then they actually, tried to, because of TV, they like, all right, we got to go to the stage kind of thing. So, but it was just like so surreal. It's almost like, when you're in like a flow state, whether you're golfing or you're shooting basketballs or whatever you're doing. It was just such a special moment, again, because all the people that I cared about were there. And even though the work was just about to begin on the highest level, like, I felt like I had made it somewhat. Like I'm officially like checking the box on like trying to pursue my dream of playing in the NBA. So yeah, draft night was crazy. And then,
well, how do you celebrate after draft night? Like,
we
always tell the story about when Josh got drafted. He went to a hotel room, ordered a bunch of beers, and had him and his buddies.
I wish that would have been what I did. New York was, and always is, very busy. And I remember we went to some restaurant that was overpacked and like took forever. And honestly, I was just smiling ear to ear, and I couldn't even tell you what the name of the restaurant was. Didn't get obnoxiously drunk or anything. I was just like, I don't know, kind of like on this high of life, and like, holy smokes, like all the people that I love are here at this dinner, and I just got drafted in the NBA. So, I try to, for as outgoing as I am, and like I said earlier, I do love to have a good time. I do like to, in a weird way, in those moments, try to stay like, I don't know, keep it calm, which is kind of weird. It's either, I feel like it'd be one or the other. Like we just have a complete blowout night and drink 30 beers, or just don't drink at all and kind of have a relaxing dinner. So my first game, man, was against the Lakers in Portland. Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. For whatever reason, the vets allowed me to be the team captain, like shake the other guy's hand, say hello to the officials. Hey, if you have any problems during the game, make sure you come to me, and this and the other. Well, it was Kobe Bryant, and I remember thinking to myself, like, holy smokes, this is really my life. First game ever. So I was the sixth man that year, first big off the bench. And I remember checking in. I'm pretty sure it was the first play I got in. Damian got downhill and threw me a little lob. I didn't like smash it or anything because I was, I don't know, off balance or something. But that was my first point. And I remember we went down to the other end. Maybe there was a foul or something. And we're standing at the free throw lane, and Kobe was standing next to me. And I remember thinking to myself, like, holy shit. This is crazy. Like, I got no shame admitting that. Like, my dream, like, this is an icon, a legend in this sport. And just thinking to myself, like, wow, this is really real now. And, there's, in any, sport, I feel like there's this brotherhood. Like, yeah, there might be bad blood sometimes, but there's a respect level because you've made it that far. And, it's not so much like I'm oohing on and over Kobe standing there, but at the same time, it's like, holy smokes, this is crazy, man. Like, I was 20 years old and it's Kobe. Like, crazy.
So before we get talking more NBA, I want to play another game.
Oh boy.
Okay, This game on the show is called Beer Thoughts, presented by Outlaw Beer.
Okay.
And I'm gonna crack open a beer. You're more than welcome to crack open a beer if you'd like.
That'd be pretty silly if I didn't.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, cheers.
Cheers.
Beer Thoughts presented by Outlaw Beer. It's just random, relevant topics that I like to talk about. So let's start. Okay, there you go. One sip for me. Today's NBA. I mean, what are your thoughts on today's NBA?
Well, I'll be honest. As we now know from the earlier portion of this podcast, I have a 2-year-old, so we don't really have TV on all that often. So I don't even watch anymore. I've probably watched, no more than 10 full games in the last 2 years. Now, I loved my time in the NBA. I feel insanely blessed. Still have a lot of close friends that play, people on different staffs. I was, like I said, relationship building was the most important to me. So it's not like I just leave it in the rear view. Like I check in with all those people. But in terms of watching the game, I actually don't watch all that often, except for the playoffs, I guess. But it's interesting. I guess viewership is down a little bit. I'm not entirely sure why. It doesn't help that a portion of the season is alongside the NFL. I mean, that's massive viewership. So
the NFL owns the NBA. I mean, LeBron had to do his thing on Christmas Day, and
but yeah, no, you just look at the sheer numbers; it's insane. So, man, it's interesting. Like, times change, everything changes. Like, look at country music. Like, everyone was like, oh, 90s country can't ever work again. Okay, how about Mr. Zach Top?
Let me introduce you to Mr. Zach Top.
And plenty of others, but
Staples.
Things are, I guess, evolving in the league. It's definitely fast-paced, lots of threes, not a lot of mid-range. So I think probably I'll make an interesting connection here. So when people talk about like, oh, LeBron couldn't make it in the 80s. Yes, the hell he could. Oh, he complains too much. Let me tell you something. That man is big, fast, strong, smart, really good at basketball, high IQ, the whole thing. So he's really getting hit almost every time down the floor. Now, as his opponent, can it be, feel like it's a bit much sometimes? Sure. But when it comes to the level of physicality or the style of game, like old heads will say like, oh man, they ain't got it like us. I don't know if I agree. Like, times change. Same goes for, old head country music listeners. I'm not pointing the finger at nobody. I like all of it. Oh, this new sound, like, starting from, Luke Bryant now to Morgan Wallen. They don't even sing country music. And I'm thinking to myself, do you understand that everyone's allowed to have a different fan base? Mm-hmm. And, like, clearly there's a reason this person is successful. So, like, with the NBA, maybe it's that, people just aren't liking this brand of basketball as much. Game. Maybe they want, like, slower pace, kind of like the Larry and Magic era, and then, on into the Michael Jordan era, and, like, I don't know, the physicality and, I don't know, the chemistry on the floor rather than just jacking threes or whatever. So, like I said, honestly, I can't really give a very good assessment because I haven't been watching all that much, but I loved it when I was playing.
What about another beer thought that I have when I'm always just popping up a nice cold Outlaw beer?
Come on.
MJ or LeBron?
Oh boy, I knew it was gonna happen. So to me, they're 1A and 1B, but I would say Michael. When they do the list of like points per game and all-star selection, you name it. It's interesting because if someone is trying to appreciate Michael, like, of course they're going to pull all the stuff that fits his narrative, and then all the LeBron fans are going to say like, oh, but look at the longevity and he scored the most points ever. All the things.
What are your thoughts on the whole Bronny James, LeBron?
Dude, you know what? I saw an interview.
It's cool as hell. Don't get me wrong. I mean,
it is. I'll say this: Bronny is genuine, man. That's what I like most about it. He's not an arrogant kid. He had the whole thing with his heart, which is super scary. I mean, he almost died. So, like, I feel like people just need to give him some grace. And let me just say this about LeBron: he's never really had any trouble on his radar, and he has been known around the globe since he was 18. In the social media era, imagine it. Not easy. Everybody's watching you. Everyone's wanting to take a picture of you or with you or a video and trying to catch you doing something stupid or all the things. And yet, pretty clean slate all the way through. So the fact that, he is as involved in his kid's life, like, it's pretty apparent to me, like, Bronny seems like a good kid. And so, obviously, is he getting a chance probably because of who his dad is? Yeah, I guess that would be a fair assessment. But he works extremely hard. He's a talented basketball player. And that's just the way life goes sometimes. The old saying, like, it's not always what you know, it's who you know, kind of thing. And so for that example, it's like, you know what? The kid deserves a chance. And the interview I was about to mention, he was just so genuine and excited that he's healthy and able to play basketball. Like, think about it. He's not saying, oh, my dad's LeBron and I deserve a chance in the NBA, or, all these different things. Like, sometimes it is what it is. I'm never one to point the finger like, hey, go get it, dude. Like, if you're working and you're a good dude, those are the two things I always say to kids that ask me for advice, people that come to me during times of, hardship, I guess, in their life. I just say, look, there is two ingredients to having success in life: being a really good person and working really effing hard. End of story, in my opinion. Because, sometimes, life gets hard, but people give up, or they get bitter, or they point the finger, or, a multitude of things. And I guess sometimes people will say to me, like, how did you do it with the childhood that you had? And I always think, first of all, I'm a parent now, so I can't imagine. My mom was, lost my dad, debilitating back issues, all these different things, and yet raised a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old to be good men. We didn't have nothing, but she did enough. And you never know, like, when your time is coming. And that could be playing sports, and I can give you some examples about that if you want, about staying ready. Like, the biggest moments of me staying ready are what kept me in the league and what got me paid in the playoffs. 100%. Because
like when your number was called, you balled.
100%.
It rhymes.
Nice. Could be, I'll put that in the hook book. Like, there was 2 or 3 separate times, like, playoffs would come, and especially towards the end of my career, even the 30 points and 12 rebounds against the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals. Dude, I was playing all season long. All of a sudden, boom, we took another big at the trade deadline. So that's in February.
And you were with who at the time?
Portland.
Okay.
And so that's February. And then I just didn't play the rest of the season pretty much. So that's, February, March, mid-April is when the playoffs start. So, like, that's a good 2 months at least where I could have just been like, you know what? I'm in my 7th year. I've tried so hard to prove to you guys, like, that I can play every single night and contribute, and I felt like I was. Anyways, the point is I could have gotten bitter and said, like, you know what, the hell with this, and, just show up to practice, not early for, extra jump shots, not staying late, more shots, weights, conditioning, film, you name it. So I doubled down on everything. And I'll never forget, we were playing, the first round is when Dame hit that step back over Paul George. Nasty, first of all. He is a...
Pull that clip up. Holy cow.
That dude at the end of a game.
That's when Dame time got started, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, what was it? This?
Yeah, right on the wrist. So he hit that shot. I played a little bit. They had Steven Adams, so I could space the floor because I shot threes. And I was physical enough to...
Subtle flex right there.
What's that?
Subtle flex. Big guy that can shoot a three,
That's what kept me in the league.
True.
So I played sparingly, and then Game 7 in Denver, I had a decent game, but I made enough of an impact because, again, every time Jokic has to run to the three-point line, it wears him down a little more. And I'm not saying, like, I wasn't a go-to bucket getter. I didn't have a huge impact on that series, but I did just enough. But I still wasn't playing all that much. So then we get to the Western Conference Finals against the Warriors. And Game 1 and Game 2 were in Oakland. And I didn't really get checked into either. I did, but I didn't really play much. And I remember Game 3 morning, we were in Portland. We had an optional shoot and like breakfast from the chef, and you can come in and shoot, and then meet at the arena. Well, all the guys that were playing big minutes, of course, they're going to sleep in, get their rest, and be ready for the game at night. But I was like, all right, I'm going to go get some shots up. I was the only one that showed up. I'm sitting there having breakfast, and I get a text from our head coach, and he said, hey, stop by my office before you leave. I said, okay, it's kind of weird. I was just planning on shooting and leaving, but all right. So I walked in his office. I said, do I need to shut the door? He said, no. I said, okay. He said, you're going to start tonight. I said, okay, I'll be ready. And I walked out. Because I was that confident that I knew that I had stayed ready. So to some people, this ain't a big game, but to Meyers Leonard, it is. I had 17 and 11. Game 3, we unfortunately, now we're down 0-3. We lost the game. And then Game 4, I had 30 and 12. So, I mean, I'll tell you, I was dog tired because, like, there's nothing like in-game shape. But I was proud of myself, to be truthful, because I had stayed ready. Like, if I had gotten bitter, I would have made an ass out of myself on national TV, is what I really would have done. Because they would have asked me to play and start and, if your legs aren't under you, you're not making shots. If you're not locked in on film, you're not prepared whenever. These guys are too good. Like, you got to try to take away the primary move, and then guys got second and third option. But the point is I stayed ready in Miami. Spo and Pat literally told me, like, we had our eye on you for a while, and we're wondering, like, all right, he seems like a Heat guy, and boy, did I love it there. I really did. And then when you had those couple of games in Portland, we're like, okay, dang, he like stayed ready, and we'd like to have him. So that's why I got traded. I just got done talking to my best friend about this. Like, he's working with an NBA player right now, and he does strength conditioning. And he was like, dude, I'm not gonna lie, I used your story about staying ready. You never know when your time's coming. So this comes back to friends or family that say, like, Meyers, what do I got to do? I'm like, just keep working hard and be a good person. I don't know if you're going to open the door for the CEO of Starbucks. You might not know who it is, but if you just smile and say hello and open the door, you never know if your next job opportunity is coming right there. You never know. You know how it is. You've been around successful people.
100%.
You can feel it when somebody needs something, or you want like, that person needs something from me, and I really want to help them just because they were a good person that one moment. So, yeah, that's my 2 ingredients to being successful in life and living, in my opinion, a happy life is to work real hard and be a genuine good person.
You've mentioned both of the cities a lot, and they're probably each have their pros and cons, but, I mean, what was your favorite between Portland and Miami?
Different. So, like, my wife and I will always say when people ask us about Portland, yes, it rains a lot, but the fans are great. There was definitely a love-hate relationship for me in terms of, like, hot or cold. Some people were frustrated that it took me a while to develop. I mean, I did. Do I like that? No. But was it my reality? Yes. It's not like I wasn't trying. I mean, I was always putting the effort in, and I wanted to be better at certain moments, and I just flat out wasn't. And then there was times that I was real good, and I was pretty damn proud of that. So that was interesting, kind of the relationship there with the fans. But I'm thankful regardless. I'm always glass half full. Try to see the best in everybody, and I believe that enough people believed in me. So
were those the only 2 teams that you played?
And then Milwaukee for 1 year. Yeah.
Right. So you did
7 years Portland, 2 years Miami, 1 year Milwaukee.
10
total.
Is that kind of like the NFL where you need to have 10 in to get your...
Dude, this is crazy. You ready? I didn't technically do a full 10. I was like 17 games away for health care for life for me, my wife, and literally it could be 20 kids. And
Damn.
I missed it.
Well, you're still, you still
healthcare.
Look good. I mean, you can do 17 more games and you'll get it.
Nope. You got to be on a roster for half a season.
So what if you get picked up?
I guess it's theoretically possible, but.
Are you officially done?
When is this coming out?
Why? I can make it. You about to tell me something?
I'm done.
Oh, okay.
My wife made me promise not to say something, but I like you, so yeah, I'm done.
Oh, like you're gonna announce
Retire.
official?
So I wrote a song. We'll get into this part of it, but
yeah.
I've written songs about a lot of things. But
when are you gonna announce the official retirement?
Maybe for my birthday party. I'm renting out a floor at Chiefs.
Which is when?
My birthday is February 27th, but it's gonna be I think it's Saturday the 1st. I've got, I don't know, probably 60 or 75 people, my best friends and family, and they're all coming to town. We're going to do like a ride. March 1st.
Oh,
so
March
February
1st,
27th, and then Saturday, March 1st. So like I said, I rented out the floor, the piano bar at Chiefs. They're going to pull the piano off, and we're going to do like a writer's round style, premium bar, food, the whole thing. So it should be a really good time because all my friends and family love music, and I'm lucky enough now to have been surrounded by some good writers and some talented folks in town, I guess you could say. So that'll be pretty fun. But yeah, I'm gonna maybe that night. I'm not gonna tell anybody. I might just sing that song and then say like, "Hey, I'm done." Just quickly on so back to Portland.
Yes, sir.
So no, it's all right. So with Portland, man, I loved it. I did. Like I said, I'm always glass half full. Love people, just really do. My wife and I always say we grew up there. So we moved there when we were 20. It is literally the furthest NBA city from my hometown. Not Toronto, not any of that, because the West is so big. So we grew up there. We got married there. Like, we had a lot of special memories in Portland. I would say my favorite stop was probably Miami for a couple of reasons. But primarily because, what I was doing at the time was playing basketball. And as I mentioned, my last game in Portland was my best game by far I ever had in Portland. And it was kind of, I don't know, it was almost like a storybook, like send-off. Like, I don't even know how that was the thing, but it was. And I was just more prepared as a player, and I felt more confident, like in the locker room, in the community. I always did, but a different level, I guess you could say. So Miami was awesome. I would say Miami was probably my most, I don't know. It's so difficult, man. Because,
I'm with you. Yeah, I just was curious if there.
Some people. I loved all of it. I really did. I like I said earlier, I was lucky with all the locker rooms. I never had bad teammates. Like,
that was my last kind of beer thoughts, was if you had any throughout the NBA, like any kind of big time beef with an NBA player.
Not really, man. Everyone always says like DeMarcus Cousins and I, but not even. Like, first of all, DeMarcus Cousins is insanely talented. Far more talented than I ever thought about being, to be totally honest with you. I mean, he could score on the block. He could face up and shoot an open J. He could shoot threes. Like, insanely talented. I was, just good at a handful of things, and I could shoot threes as a big. That's why I stayed in the NBA. I got no shame admitting that. Now, I am proud of always being a great teammate and doing things in the community. Like, all that stuff matters. But yeah, he's the only one. But the truth is I remember I was a young pup. I mean, it was maybe my third year. I checked into a game in Sacramento when he was there, and I just happened to play decent. Like, I'm physical enough. Like, I can't stop him one-on-one. No, it's a team defense. Like, but respectfully, the average NBA fan or basketball fan doesn't see like what we call a dig from the wing. Yeah. So he's got to time his dribble, and all of a sudden that just keeps him off balance enough for me to get a stop. But I didn't stop him by myself. So anyways, I made a couple threes, had a couple mid-range J's, whatever, played decent against him. So then all of a sudden, I don't know, it just became this thing. It was like every time I was going to play against DeMarcus, it was just going to double tech, no question. Like, I might as well just write a check to the league before the game. And it's not, again, I don't think he dislikes me. Like, I've never disliked him. I've always thought, like, man, you know what? I want to know him as a human being. Like, yeah, he's a great player, and, people say, oh, he's, yells at the refs or whatever. Come on. Like, I ain't got time for all that. I want to know. So I don't judge anybody unless I know them personally. End of story. I never have, never will. Because that's just not how I roll. And so, people say like, man, why is he always getting into, why are you guys getting all those double time? I'm like, I don't know, but I'm still not going to judge him because I don't know him like that. I don't know where technically, like, I have a basic understanding of, his basketball career and stuff because he's just that good. You pay attention. But I don't know what his childhood was like. I don't know what the hell he's been through. Mm-hmm. I don't know any of that. So I'm not going to be like, you know what, DeMarcus is an asshole. No, I'm not going to say that. Back to Jimmy. Well, Jimmy does this or he does that, and he, did that whole thing when he was in Minnesota. Whatever. I ain't got time for all that. I really don't. Like, come talk to me like man to man, and let me, like, and again, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and sometimes people, I don't know, assess from afar, and I just flat out won't do that.
More recently, you just announced your retirement from the NBA. You're coming in this new venture of country music. You're in Nashville. You got the boots on. You got a brand new pair of TECOVAS. We're drinking Outlaw beer. You got the great pickup truck outside. Tell me about, number one, tell me how the conversation went of you deciding to retire from basketball, and then why in the hell are you going into country music?
Great question. So, man, it would be really hard to get on a plane, 41 plus times. You got 41 away games, and you got preseason, you got the playoffs, you got all these things. Man, I love being a dad, and I love my wife. I really do. And again, I keep telling you, like all the events or all the, the timing of life, the way it's all played out for me is just crazy. Like it's almost hard to believe sometimes. So I just feel so grateful that it timed out the way it did. Would we have made it work? Of course we would have. But I love my son to death. Like I'd rather be fully engaged and always there than having to get on a plane and go do a 4-game road trip. Like, would I do it if I had to? Yeah. But, man, when I tell people like, yeah, I'm done playing, a lot of times people are like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, yes, I'm very grateful for that time of my life. Like, I played in the best basketball league in the world for 10 years, coming from nothing in a small town in Robinson, Illinois. That in itself is crazy to me. I do genuinely believe and know I worked very hard, and I'm, thankful that was always kind of my MO. But yeah, man, I just talked to my wife about it, and I was like, I'm ready to be done. That, and I'm a little beat up, honestly, for 32. My ankle's a little rough. Two left shoulder surgeries. You just put a lot of mileage on your body. Actually, I'll drop a little knowledge on you. So I was sitting with an orthopedic guy once, and he was like, dude, you understand why athletes and you guys are so arthritic, like when you retire? I'm like, yeah, we pound on our bodies. He's like, no. Yeah, you really pound on your bodies. You might as well add 20 years to your bones when you retire. So because the average Joe, they might work out or whatever, and even if they do, like, this is our job. So we're talking 2 and 3 and 4 hours a day for, if we're training really hard since high school, let's say for me, say 17 up till a year ago. So, 15 straight years of just pounding. My body's probably in its 50s when it comes to my bones. Seems simple, but it's definitely real. Trust me, when I got out of bed, I'm like, and I'm not complaining. I'm like, oh gosh, there's no way I should feel this way. But you know what? It is what it is. The sacrifice is worth it. But, so yeah, it was time. It was time. But I'm not sad, man. I'll tell you, I've got a really close friend of mine in Miami. He works in the front office, and he texted me actually end of last season, and he said, hey man, I miss you so much. Are you going to try to come back and play and this and that? And I said, no, I think I'm officially done. He said, you're sure? And I said, yeah. He said, are you happy? I said, man, I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life, and it's not close. And all he said was, I love you, my brother. You won the game. Because, every situation is different. Every relationship is different. But I'm genuinely happy. I've got great friends and family. I got a great wife. I got a baby boy, another on the way. I love Nashville. It's a 4-hour drive to my hometown. It's a 52-minute flight to my wife's hometown. It checks all the boxes we could ever want in terms of raising a family and schools and sports and just all the things. And so I just feel so dang lucky. And then that leads me into the music thing. So,
which was just mind blowing. I mean, when we first met via Instagram, I started looking. I'm like, man, why is he a fan of this show? Like, I appreciate the hell out of it. And I started digging. I'm like, damn, this dude, he's a country boy, man. He's got some inspiring things to do in country music, drives a pickup truck, and he might genuinely like this show. And then we started DMing. I'm like, damn, he's got a story to tell, but when did this happen? Did you sing growing up?
No, dude, I didn't have a rhythmic bone in my body, nor ever sang in my life. Not even like alone in my car, because I was just like, I don't know, I'd probably sound too awful or something. And sure as shit, not in front of my friends or family, because I'm like, I always want to be like the best at whatever I'm doing. So if I feel like I don't sound good, I'm just not going to do it. So I had an ankle surgery and a shoulder surgery, and I was like, I knew I was going to be not playing for whatever it is, 6 months, let's say. And so I texted my buddy, and I was like, dude, I'm so bored. He's like, you know what? You ought to go get a guitar. I'm like, what? He's like, what else are you going to do with your time? I'm like, you're right. So I texted one of my songwriting buddies here in town. Actually, it was Taylor Phillips. And he said, dude, just go to a Guitar Center close to you, and asking for a J45. I didn't even know what the hell that meant at the time. So I walked in there and I go, hi, do you guys have this thing called a J45? Now, mind you, I always loved country music and this and that, but I didn't know like specifics when it came to instruments and stuff.
Yep.
I wasn't that, because I was so dialed into basketball that like all these other things just weren't a part of my focus. So they're like, yeah, we can get you one. They were kind of looking at me like, is this your first guitar? And I was like, yeah, never played an instrument in my life. They're like, okay, yeah, sure. We can go grab you one. So I popped it in my truck, drove home, and dude, I couldn't strum a chord for, I mean, technically speaking, if I just stared at YouTube, I could strum a chord. The point is I couldn't play really anything for probably 6 months. And then I never sang with the guitar until like 2 years later, which would have been sometime in like 2023. And then all I tried to do was learn all the most famous songs that help you with strumming patterns. All this stuff seems silly, but I'm going to tell you the truth. Like all the strumming patterns and like vocal melodies and songs and this and that. Like if I'm playing for my friends and they just want, we're drinking beer by campfire, like, I got to be able to play all the hits. So I started learning all those songs and I was like, there's no way in hell I will ever sing with a guitar. And then I've tried and it was like so bizarre because it's like, I don't know, left and right brain, I suppose, are like trying to, what do they say? Pat your head and rub your belly.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, there's no way in hell I'll ever do this. All of a sudden, I could at least sing and play, but not well. I mean, I was horrible. I'd never sang in my life. I didn't know anything about singing. So I'd always go to the garage because I was embarrassed, and my wife would be like, are you done yet? Can you, like, come inside or quit screaming? Because I thought the louder you get, the better it'll sound. Because everyone knew me as, like, a vocal communicator when I was playing basketball on the defensive end. And, I mean, I'm loud as hell. And everyone always say, your speaking voice, like, you can probably sing a little bit. And I think to myself, like, no, the hell I can't. So I started working a little bit with a vocal coach in LA, and I still was not good. But I was at least expanding my range and able to hear it a little better because I didn't have an ear for it. Dude, strumming, all the things. I was horrible. So now, I'm still not very good, I guess. I don't really know I don't know what category to put myself in, but I will say this.
You don't think you're good right now? Today?
I don't know.
I mean, what's your plan? You're going to get into the business, though.
Oh, well, hell yeah. I got 15 songs written. I got to get out of my own way probably with my confidence, but I'll explain some of those songs here in a second. But, man, I was saying this earlier, like I could literally go to Nissan right now, packed house, stand at the 50-yard line and tell my life story, no problemo on a mic. But entertaining is not the issue for me. I have to learn to sing better. I have to learn to play guitar better. I'm learning to write songs. But I've never had a problem talking into a mic or the entertainment thing. And then, turning all the things, pain, happy times, drinking beer, turning that into music. Also, like, I can get the basic, thought, title, hook down. Here's what I want this song to sound like and feel like, but I can't do vocal melodies. Maybe one day. I'm starting to feel it a little better, but I've got a couple buddies that I just happened to start writing with. Actually, matter of fact, the reason I'm doing my party at Chiefs is my buddy Ben, he plays there a few times a week, and he did a writer's round takeover for his birthday. This is probably 2 months ago now. And he was like, dude, you got to at least get up and play one of your songs. And I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm not ready. He's like, yes, you are. So I ended up getting up there, and it went okay.
You have a video of it?
I think I actually might. I'll have to pull it up after. But
give us something. Give us something. What you got? Do like what's your go-to karaoke song? Like, sing some vocals right now.
Oh God, I feel like my voice is shot from screaming at the bar last night. But I'd probably do some Toby Keith. I don't know. Like, I love this. I love like honky tonk music. We got winners, we got losers, chain smokers and boozers. Like,
that's good, man.
American girls, American guys will always stand up and salute. We'll always Recognize when you see old glory flying. Love that freaking song, man.
It's the best.
Matter of fact, I was wearing that hoodie last night at the bar. Anyway, so yeah, I would say if I was definitely trying to not mimic, but figure out what I wanted to sound like, and the people that I most easily could learn from when I was learning all these songs, and then trying to really sing and work on my own personal sound, would be Toby Keith, Randy Travis, and Josh Turner would probably be the third one because of the low end, the bass. But man, I went from like, all right, I'm just gonna play covers. I said okay now, like I was pretty pumped about that. And my buddy was like, "Are you ever gonna write songs?" I was like, "Hell no, I don't know how to write a song." And then out of the blue, like I just started thinking of ideas, and so I did this writers round, and I ended up playing a couple songs. And my buddy was like, I'm a dad now. Like I feel like I'm old, but I do love to have fun. And he was like, "Dude, just come to the bar after the writers round. Just come to Red Door." I had never been to Red Door at the time, and just meet some of my buddies. I was like, "Nah, I ain't gonna do it." He's like, "Dude, one beer turns into more than that." But anyway, so I met my buddy Steve Thomas, and then another guy, Caleb Mills. Those are the two guys I write the most with. And dude, they just are so talented. Just like a lot of people in this town, but they understand me, and that's the most important thing to me. Mm-hmm. So we sit down and start talking about, like I guess, what boxes do I want to check when it comes to writing music? Because I'm not writing music for other people. I'm writing it for me. And when I say
life experiences too.
Life experiences. Yeah. And hopefully if it reaches one person, 10, 100, 1,000, 100,000, don't care. I just want to make music that means something to me, because I feel like it's now kind of my way to get that itch of wanting to entertain, but also like I could go do community events when I was playing basketball and have that connection. And I feel like this is a unique way to now do that, but through my life story, but with music, because I've always loved country music. I never thought I could write a song, but now here I am. And co-writing is so important for me. Like I said, I can get I can get a cool title, or I can, have an idea, but turning that into music is something totally different. And so I knew the boxes that I wanted to check were, a song or a couple, now that I have, about my dad being gone. A couple honky-tonk songs, one about beer, one about this, one about that. I got a song called 7 Foot POV that's pretty funny. So it's just like all the things that I experienced at my 7 foot point of view.
I mean,
so it's just unique to me.
You have a story to tell from losing your pops, from the family who brought you under their wing, to basketball, the ups and downs there. You could go on and on.
Oh yeah, we got some down home American songs, all that.
Yeah,
I love it so much. I really do. It is so much fun to me, because I'm again hitting that entertainment part for me, but also being able to tell my life story. So like I said, I think the one that popped off kind of was, and this, I really don't like singing in front of my wife, which is kind of strange, but this is a good story. So the first time I ever wrote officially with Steve and Caleb was, it's probably 2 months ago now. And we wrote a song for my dad. We finished a song. I had one started. It's called Beer in Heaven. So it's basically all the things I wish I could ask you right now on earth, but I can't. You're gone. So we'll talk all about them over at Beer in Heaven. And I just I had it written, but it wasn't right. And so we rewrote it, and I loved the way it turned out. And so my wife, which I respect, she's like, "Meyers, the nanny's off at 5. When 5 o'clock rolls around, you got to be done writing." Because, dude, I'll just keep writing. I could write from 12 p.m. one day till 5 a.m. the next. I just, if we're rolling, we're rolling. But so I was going to put my guitar on the wall, and I said to the guys, I was like, "Hey, like, dude, this was awesome. Like, thank you so much. Like, I've been wanting to get that song done about my dad for so long." And they're like, "Hell yeah, dude." I was like, "I got an idea." They're like, "Okay, what?" It's like, we've had a gender reveal card from the hospital sitting on our counter for the last 6 weeks, and my wife wants me to surprise her, which I'm not very good at. Now, how do I do that? I don't know. Is it in front of her family? Do I set up some sort of meal? Like, how do I do it? Like, I'm just not, I'm a decent planner, but I really got to think hard about it. And when it's something emotional, I'm like, can't screw it up. So anyways, I was like, I kind of want to write a song about, is it a boy or is it a girl? So I walk upstairs, and this is probably 4:50. Like I said, I was like, I'm going to go ask my wife if she'll let me open that gender reveal card. And so they start talking about something. I go upstairs. She's like, you know what? Yeah, that kind of sounds cool. You should write a song about, are we having a boy or a girl? I went back downstairs and I showed them, and they were pumped. I mean, it's a boy. That's on social media now. And anyways, so we wrote a song called Paint the Room. But Steve, when I walked back in, he's like, I got the idea. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, we're going to call it Paint the Room. Everybody thinks like, are we going to paint the room blue? We're going to paint it pink? Like, is it cowboy boots or a sundress? Like, is it a boy? Is it a girl?
Damn, that's cool.
So yeah, it turned out awesome. So they actually went, I was like, I got to be a dad right now. Like, and they're like, dude, we respect that. They actually came back that night. I always get my son there right about 8 p.m., read him some stories, tuck him into bed. And then my wife was like, you know what? It's a cool idea. You should have him back over tonight. So they left for a little bit, came back, hammered the song out, and then I posted it. So I surprised my wife, and I, got like a beautiful bouquet of flowers, blue and pink, and candles, and the whole thing down in my writing room. And I was like, all right, I really want to show you this. Are you ready? She said, yeah. So it's got a lot of views. I mean, people are like, when are you releasing it? When are you releasing it? When are you releasing it? So there's a handful of songs like that one, a couple songs about my dad. I mean, I got one about called Southern Illinois Boys for me and my boys back home, which turned out pretty awesome. I got a song called He's a Working Man for my best friend's dad, because he is just blue collar as hell and like broke down to the freaking bone, man. But it's just who he is, you know what I mean? It's almost like My Last Rodeo, such a good song.
Yep.
But then there's the retirement song, and I kind of have like a sequel to that. I was actually on an NBA page. We probably wrote this one a month ago. And unfortunately, a player that primarily played overseas, played some summer league. They had him in I think an Orlando jersey. I don't know his name respectfully, but he took his own life. And so I looked at the comments, because the basketball world in some ways is small. And I was interested to see, and most people, condolences and this and that, but there's the jerks that every now and then get on there. And so someone said this guy was probably making all this money. How could he be so unhappy? And someone replied to that one and said, you do realize there's a person behind that jersey. So we wrote a song called Behind the Jersey as a sequel to my retirement song, because that's what I've always wanted people to know the most, the man Meyers Leonard, not the basketball player. I want you to know about what I've gone through, how thankful I am for you, all these things. And so, yeah, we wrote that one, and it turned out pretty awesome. So we're planning to, at my party there at Chiefs, kind of play almost the whole thing. So that should be kind of crazy.
Might need to roll up.
Oh, you'll get the invite, don't worry.
Damn.
So I'm pretty pumped about it, to say the least. Like, there's just a handful of songs that it kind of taps into all these different things about my life.
Dude, if people don't know who you are after this, holy cow. What would you, to finish this up, I mean, we could be talking for 2 or 3 hours, but you have gone through hell and back.
I'd say that's a fair assessment.
Right? And you've come out on top. You had a great NBA career. You're gonna have a fun country music career. We'll see if it's gonna be good, great, or terrible, but you're gonna have fun doing it.
That's true.
Great husband, great dad, beautiful family. I mean, but it took hell to get all of these things.
Oh yeah.
What would you say to the people listening, watching, whatever they're doing, on adversity and how to overcome it?
Loaded question, but you know what's interesting about this? Do you know the name Marcus Luttrell, the lone survivor?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so actually, one of the coolest things I ever got to do when I was in the NBA is go on his podcast. And so I listen regularly, and he was talking one time about, essentially your pain threshold in life. So if you lose someone early on, or if you don't really have a lot, all these different things, your pain threshold just gets higher and higher and higher and higher. Compared to, respectfully, someone who grows up, steady household, money, don't have to worry about much. Like, they haven't really experienced this pain. So all of a sudden they go to college and it's like whammy. When something little happens, that's a big deal to them. But when something big happens to me, I'm like, I've been there, done that. So really, pain is a good teacher in life if you allow it to be. And so that's what I've always tried to, because again, people will say like, Meyers, how'd you get through that? First of all, my mom was the one getting through it. But I just said to myself, like, just be a good kid and always work hard. Like, the adversity, if you allow it to, it will propel you. But there's also the other direction of like bitterness or turn into alcohol, whatever it may be. People do it, and it's sad. But another piece of this is having close friends and family and asking for help when you need it. I will most certainly not go off on this tangent because this will take another hour if I do. But honestly, asking for professional help when I was 30 years old is the best thing I've ever done for myself in my life, and it is not close. And all the highest level folks I've ever been around, and I'm not a name dropper, so I'm not going to do it, all of them say, we all need it. And it's the truth, man. I know it full and well. People can say that, I'm big, bad, and tough and this and that. That's what I always was trying to show. But I wasn't, man. I was dying from the inside out when I was in the NBA. That is an absolute fact. I got individually booed by our fans in Portland. Me, not the team, Meyers Leonard. And I just started to crumble, man. And all
that was because of
I just didn't play well.
And they would just...
Yeah, I got in at the end of the game, and I missed a three, and then I think I might have airballed a three, which is rare. I at least hit the rim.
Yeah. And
I'm a good shooter. But I just remember thinking like, oh my gosh. So every time I drive to that arena, man, it was like a million bricks were on my shoulders, and I was like, oh my gosh. And, I don't think it's soft. It's good to talk about what's real in life. And so, asking for help is huge. So I finally did, man, and it changed everything. And the thing about it is, for all the silly things I've done in my life, for all the good moments and the bad moments and everything in between, I finally came to realize, because I asked for help from a professional, that even when I was making money, or even if I had a good game or a bad game, the roots of the pain was from my dad being gone. And I had to face it once and for all, and I finally did. And I'll tell you the story about this. Like, I left that session, and it was a wild experience. I wish we had more time, I would tell you. But the point is, I want to
hear it. Let's hear it. Go for it.
Oh, God. All right. So
I love that. Well,
I got myself in trouble also once upon a time, which sucked, but it is what it is. So I finally admitted that I needed to go to therapy. We had just, my wife and I had just gone on a hike with a couple of our really close friends in LA. And because of my leg being so weak from the ankle stuff, I had fallen behind. And they told my wife, like, he has got to go. Like, we can't see him like this any longer. He acts like he's fine and he's not. And guess what? They were right. But meanwhile, I'm driving a big-ass truck. I live in a nice house. I make, frankly, a lot of money. I've got a beautiful wife. I've got all the things. But I was empty emotionally. And so I finally, we got back from this hike, and I don't know why, but I walked up to our bedroom, and I sat on the bed, and I just started losing it, like crying hysterically. My wife came upstairs, and she's like, what is wrong? And I was like, I'm just not a good enough brother. I'm not a good enough friend and husband and all these things. I would always redirect it back to myself, just as I did as a basketball player, just as I was just joking about with my music. Like, yeah, am I going to be the vocalist of the century? No, I know that for sure, but I do want to story tell. But the point is I normally don't have a lot of confidence in myself, so I need others to believe in me, kind of thing. So she finally gets me calmed down, and she said, look, Meyers, I don't know if this is God's timing, but I literally just talked to two of your best friends, and they're like, you got to go. Like, you got to do it. So I finally did, and she, this lady, Lynn, comes very highly recommended, and so I sent her like a basic briefing of, what I'm going through and whatever. So I pull up to her house. I'm sitting on the couch right across from her. She says, okay. And she's like real sweet, easy to talk to, maybe in her 50s. Very good at what she does. She does what's called EMDR therapy. eye movement desensitization reprocessing. So it allows you to remove trauma from your childhood or times in your life. And let me tell you something, it is real, very real. And so she said, well, why are you really here? And I said, well, I got myself in some trouble. She's like, it's not that. Tell me about your life. So I was like, well, I guess for starters, my dad died when I was 6. And she goes, keep going. So I just, dude, as I always do, you can tell with this podcast, I just kind of dumped my heart and soul into everything. And there was a lot of tears, a lot of difficult things talking about, we didn't even touch on this, but like people change, man. When you make it to the big leagues, it's hard. You become the bank. Like, Meyers, I need money. Meyers, I'm having a tough time. Like, and I'm a softie. I want to help everybody. But at some point, you have to say no. And the Player Association would tell us over and over again, you were asking about like media training and all these things. Of course we had to do it. And I'd always say, nope, it's never going to happen to me. And, well, it sure as hell did. And it was really hard on me because I knew that these people had helped me and I've helped them. But dude, it feels like I took a whole group of people, which I wanted to, just brought them with me. But the point is I told her everything about my life, and all primarily the painful stuff, of course, because I'm sitting there at therapy. Mm-hmm. And I remember looking up at the clock on the wall, and I go, oh no. She said, what? I go, well, it's been an hour. I have to leave. She said, don't worry, honey. I knew this was going to take longer than an hour. So she said, you remember when you walked in, I wanted you to try EMDR? I said, yeah. And I should have mentioned this, but like 10 minutes into me telling her about my dad and then my childhood, and I was getting on and on and on, she just smiled, just ever so slightly. And I said, do you need to tell me something? She said, well, I'm just really happy that I'm going to be able to help you a lot before you walk out that door. And I said, okay, I'll take your word for it. So I do all the talking for an hour, and EMDR is like you're disconnecting left and right brain. You're going back to a traumatic time or event and kind of almost what I would call like check the box emotionally and move on. So she hands me these 2 pods that are connected to wires, and she's got this frequency box, and she says, are you ready? And I said, yeah. So I closed my eyes, and mind you, I did a ton of sports psych because, again, the confidence thing when I was playing. And so we're probably like 30, 45 seconds, maybe a minute in, and she's trying to like thought provoke me to my childhood. Like, can you, just feel where you might have been, what you might have thought, whatever was going on in your life. And I was starting to get a little skeptical in my head, like, all right, is this like a gimmick or something? Dude, I'm telling you, let me sit up for this and for the next part of the story. Just out of the blue, bang. 6-year-old Meyers Leonard was in like a little, 8x8 room, not much light. I could barely see myself in my head. And I was in the corner with my head down, teary-eyed but not crying, and just so afraid of life. And no confidence, no self-love, all the things that actually really matter if you're being genuine and talking holistically with people. Like, those feelings are the ones you need to feel good in life, and I didn't have any of them. So all of a sudden, dude, I just started to shake and started bawling. I had no tears coming out of my eyes. I finally thought I had stopped crying. And it's because she started to dig deeper once she could sense that this was happening, about like my dad being gone and, being made fun of. And every time. It's all good. All the things that are were tough. She was just hammering me with them, and I think at one point she realizes now it's kind of time to make the turn to help me heal, and it's just the simplest of things. But the weirdest part of this whole thing is, she didn't give me any inclination prior to what she was about to say. She said, I just want you to walk in the room. I didn't even know what that meant, but I did. the version of Meyers Leonard that people have always thought they see, 7 feet, wide shoulders, successful, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I walked in the room. It's almost like looking up to your dad, kind of, like Superman. And she said, just walk over and put your arm around yourself. So I did, and now she's starting to hit me with like, everything's going to be okay in your life. You deserve love, you know, all the things, all the positive stuff. And I promise you, after a couple of comments from her, my little head picked up and I had this little smile. And from the waist up, it felt like I had light illuminating out of my body. Mind you, my eyes are closed. And I'm still crying, by the way, because it's like really a transformation, I guess. And I just remember feeling like, oh my God, what just happened? I was like shaking, crying. This light's coming out of me. Like I'm feeling like I finally deserve. Like I even had imposter syndrome when I was playing. Like, do I deserve this? Like, I know I work hard, but man, maybe somebody else deserves it. The whole thing. Like I'm telling you, this is my reality. Like, it's crazy. So she realizes now that the therapy has worked, of course, and my heart rate starts to come down, and I kind of slowly stop crying and stop shaking. And she goes, okay, just take a couple deep breaths and open your eyes whenever you're ready. So I did. And I remember looking at her, and she goes, how do you feel? So, well, I don't exactly know how to describe it, but it feels like something that had like a, frankly, evil control of like my emotions. As a young man, a young boy, and even as a man, with all these things, none of it mattered. I was like still so unsure and like not in a great place emotionally, with all the support and everything. Never was enough. And she said, is it gone? I said, it feels like it's just gone. It feels like 1,000,000 pounds has come off my shoulders in the last minute. And then she did that little smile again, and she said, I thought that's what was going to happen once you told me about your childhood. I said, okay. She said, now, it's going to sound like a weird analogy, but you're going to feel like a shook-up snow globe for a couple of days because you just went through a big transformation. Trust me. I said, oh, I trust you, Lynn. After that, I trust you. So I didn't mention this earlier, but after I got booed, primarily, every time I'd get in my truck, even when I was home, man, again, the feeling of not being enough, I don't know if that's what ignited it, but the roots of my dad being gone, anytime something bad had happened, that's just like when they say talk, like communicate in a relationship.
Yep.
If you bury it, when it comes back, it's going to be 10 times worse. And if you bury it again, it's going to be 50 times worse. So every time I'd get in my truck, I'd just cry. And then I'd put myself back together and act like everything was fine, and I'd walk in the arena. Or I'd be home, I'd be going to see my niece and nephew. Cry, put myself back together. Superman, Myers, Uncle Myers. I was not okay. I acted like I was, but I was not. Now, mind you, I'm still living a good life. I'm a happy person, but there was still this thing. And so I remember getting in the car the next morning after therapy and the whole snow globe thing, and I'm like, wonder when I'm going to feel this. Like, did I really get healed, or is it just partially healed? Now, to me, of course, life is, I'm going to heal the rest of my life. But for whatever reason, also, being in the car, but music is an emotional thing. It would always ignite it. So I'm driving to my basketball workout, and I always did 8 a.m.s. So it's probably, 7:30 in the morning. And it would always just start to creep up. You know the feeling of I'm about to cry, like when I just did? And you just can't stop it. Well, out of nowhere, it just kind of went. And I didn't ask her what to do if I thought I was going to cry again. It just kind of went. I was like, before there was no control. It was just going to come out. So I went to I couldn't tell you shit about my basketball workout. But I went home and I was like, don't tell Ellie, not yet. That maybe it's fake. So I'd always go to lift then. I'd go home, get lunch, then go lift. It's like noon maybe. Back in the truck. Here it comes. No. And I was like, what? So the roots were essentially yanked out from my dad being gone. And I'm like, holy smokes, this is crazy. Like I actually feel whole, for the first time in my life. So a few months go by, and I'm training in LA, and I'll make this like kind of the cap here. And a song came on. I can't remember the exact name of it, but basically he's saying his pops passed when he was young. He just got married. Baby number 1 is about to be born, and he just wishes that his dad could have met his wife. I think it's by a guy named Chris Brandy, maybe. It's called Would Have Loved Her, I think, maybe. Anyways, the gist of it is, I just wish my pops could have known my wife. And I was like, damn, yeah, I feel the same way, but I never thought about it like that. Like first dance at the, you know, at the wedding and stuff. And I was like, oh, that's kind of sad. And all of a sudden I felt it, and I was like, it's okay. And I just let myself cry for a second. But it was kind of, in a weird way, it wasn't like painful. But I remember thinking to myself after the song stopped and I kind of calmed down or whatever, I was like, damn, at least I have control now over this whole thing. So man, I knew this was going to end up coming out, but that's kind of my life story. Some of it.
Damn.
Sorry for the north of 2 hours worth of clips you're going to have to break through here, clip up, but
this is what it's all about, man.
It's, you know, and I'll say, like I said earlier, it's not, I certainly don't want anybody to feel bad for me, but I just feel like if I can reach people in any way, I should tell my truth and what I've experienced, and so that's what I do.
I love you, brother.
Thanks, man. Hey, I love it. I love you. You guys are awesome.
That was, man, you talk about ups and downs. That was unbelievable. Seriously, I can't tell you how excited I was to have you on the show. And now that you've been on the show, I mean, this is what it's about, man.
Yeah.
Seriously. So I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate y'all always tuning in. As always, continue to like, comment, subscribe, share, do whatever you got to do to be like a farmer.